Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another question for the old review here. Um, so we were asked to sketch a single diagram that incorporates these components. So it's important you know what the components are. This is actually an extension of what we call the kind of notation section. So knowing what these notes actually mean, and then trying to put them into practice in terms of drawing them. And it comes in two varieties. Certainly, I can give you a set of directions like right there and ask you to draw them. But certainly, I can also give you a diagram and ask you to create a set of directions, and that's where it gets kind of interesting. So let's just, I don't know, let's take the first one. Let's kind of just rock this one out and see what you guys come up with. See if you guys come up with the same thing I did. Again, the thing to note before we begin is that this says sketch. And if I'm saying sketch, that's another way to say that is to simply draw by hand. Uh, I know that we had some people actually trying to construct these using compass and straight edge and stuff. But that's not necessary. I mean, if I'm saying sketch, I am saying draw by hand. In other words, get close. But the important thing to have when you're actually dealing with a sketch is making sure that you do indeed include the markings. So in other words, if it says to be parallel, make sure you use parallel markings. If it says same length, then make sure you indicate that in the diagram. If it's an angle, make sure it's an angle. So everything that it says to do, make sure you're backing it with a marking. So you're drawing it by hand, not constructing it. You're just taking a look at the markings in post and making sure that they are accurate. Okay, so first thing, AB is parallel to CD, but AB is marked as a line segment, CD is marked as a line, and they're made to be parallel. So let's get to that first. So AB, and it doesn't really say where to pick AB, so I'm going to start out by sketching AB, and that's beautiful. It's a segment, because again, it says to draw it as a segment. CD, I'll draw that in a different color. CD is a line. It doesn't say where to draw CD, just make sure that CD, the C and D form a line that's parallel to AB. So there's CD, it's a line, which means it passes through the points, mark them with arrows. Now it says they're parallel, so I'm going to mark as parallel, boom, boom, they're parallel. Those chevrons again mean parallel, okay? So we have to mark E, so AE is equal to EB, and keep in mind without those markings, the absence of the markings tell you that they're dealing with distance. So E has to be on something, so AE and EB are the same. So I'm going to kind of make sure I'm putting that in the middle. I mean, that's the only place it can go, right? That way EB and AE and EB are the same. And I'm going to back that up by using, boom, guess what, a marking. It also says put F on the board so that F, CF, and CD are the same. Well, that means I got to put it in the middle as well. So again, I'm going to mark it this time with 2 because I don't know if all the lengths are the same, just that they're split. And again, 2 markings is different than 1 marking in this case. Last part, EF is, so we have to construct array EF, so it's perpendicular. Oh, I should mark, let me back up a step, I'm sorry. I should mark that as an E and mark that as an F, okay? So now I need to mark EF, so make it array, so it's perpendicular, it means beats the 90s. And so that it looks like they're perpendicular to both one. So EF is a ray that starts at E and travels through F, and you gotta make it so it's perpendicular here and perpendicular here. Uh, Now I know it's not perfect, but again, the markings are what matter, so I intend them to be perpendicular, uh, therefore they're perpendicular, right? So moving on to number 2, the first thing we need to do is make an angle ABC so that BA and BC are perpendicular. So that means we need a 90-degree angle, and ABC, B is indicated to be in the middle. So I'm going to draw 1 up here, I'm going to make that A, and then 1 over here, and of course they're both rays, and make that guy C. Okay, what's next? So so that A, B, and D are all collinear, that means in the same line. So if there's A, there's B, I don't know, I'm going to put D right there, so they're all on the same line. Now it doesn't say connect them with a line, it just says make sure they appear in the same line if the line was there. Final step, DE and BC have to be parallel. DE is a line, BC is a ray, but BC actually already exists. That means I just need to pick an E so that it's parallel. Ooh, whoa, way off. So that's parallel to that line. So that means I need to pick a D like here, and then make a line with it in a different color so maybe it's a little easier to pick up. Whoa. Okay, last bit to make sure I get all points. They're marked. They need to be parallel, therefore marking to be parallel. Okay. Now these last ones, there's many different things we could do, and there's lots of different steps to take it. In the end, we just have to make sure we are dealing with or end up with the same picture. So it doesn't really matter where you pick it. There's natural entry points everywhere. I mean, you can start by calling the angles. You can start by calling the side length, or I'm sorry, oh, that's bad. You can call it by calling these points a collinear. But some things to kind of take note that have to be in your final depiction of this. There are some lengths here that have to be the same. Again, 2 marks, 1 mark, so they're different lengths. And also these angles. Let me mark them this way. Womp, womp. Okay. This angle and this angle have to be the same length as well. So there's lots of things that your final product has to have. I'm just pointing out the highlights. And again, hopefully someone has posted a video on how to do this particular problem to help you out. Same thing with this. I just want to point out some features. Some features you definitely need to note is that we have 2 lines that are definitely parallel. We got a perpendicular piece here, and then you have 3 points that are coplanar. So those are the things that need to be included in addition to having the right line or segment markings. So just keep in mind whatever answer you look at for this has to follow those guidelines, all right? So this is another part of the test. It's another piece of the puzzle. I hope this helped. Hopefully the other ones on Edmodo helped as well. And I will talk to you later.